You're listening to WP Radio. I'm your host, Terry Doherty, and this is an OIAA podcast. On today's episode, we interview incoming President Mike McLeod of the OIAA, and we talk to him about everything from his childhood to his incoming presidency and all the events that are coming on this year. And it was a great podcast, so please sit back and enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to year 2 of WP Radio. We want to thank everybody that supported us and helped us out in year 1. We're looking forward to another great year with WP Radio. So, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the content. And if you have any questions, concerns, or have any advertising or things you'd like to hear on WP Radio, please reach out to myself at terry@oiaa.com and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to WP Radio, everyone, and it's our first episode of 2018-2019 season, and we have on our incoming president, Mr. Michael McLeod. Michael, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Well, I have to say thank you to you and Kieran for producing this, but more than that, for being pleasantly persistent in courting me to actually do this. So thank you very much. You guys put out a great product, and I really enjoy all the WP segments that you've done so far. So,
well,
thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, thanks for indulging us today, Mike. I read your article about fortuitous and all the things, and I looked at some of your pictures from when you're a little guy right up to your family and everything. And if you don't mind, let's kind of go right back to the beginning and talk about you and your family. So just tell everybody a little bit about your family, where you're from. I see you got a couple of brothers. So just kind of give everybody a little background about yourself. Because to be totally honest, up until recently, I didn't even know you were married with kids. You're a pretty quiet guy.
Well, you know what? My sisters may be a little disappointed to hear that you think that they're brothers, but
oh, I'm sorry.
My mother gave us all the same bowl cut back then, so I can see how you'd come to that conclusion.
Oh my God!
I have 2 sisters.
Oh,
I'm a middle child, so we grew up keeping my little sister between the 2 lines in the middle part of our back seat, and so. I grew up, we moved around a little bit. I was born in Toronto at Lapsley Street, North York General, and we lived in Ontario. My dad had a few promotions through the years that took us to Quebec, and we also spent a few years out in New Brunswick before we ended up back in Ontario. So I did high school and post-secondary in Ontario and been here ever since, with the exception of a few excursions here and there to I live in Whistler, BC, and be a bit of a ski bum for a little while.
In East Africa?
Oh, that was years ago. I went on a kind of a bit of a backpacking adventure for 2 months or so. We ended up in like 5 or 6 different countries in East Africa. And my wife and her sister were also traveling, so I met up with them in East Africa, and it was quite a tour.
Now, this is your wife that you're married to. Were you married to her then?
We were not. We were not married then. I was probably still in the courting phase. And, little did we know we'd be sitting here. Tomorrow is actually our 18th wedding anniversary. So we have our daughter's 13th birthday today.
Wow.
And our other daughter is 8 years old, and we've been married 18 years.
That's fantastic.
Tomorrow, so.
Well, congratulations.
We're actually traveling out to the RIMS conference in Newfoundland tomorrow together, and we will be celebrating our anniversary on the Rock.
Yeah, I actually heard a little bit about that when I was at the kickoff, and I was a little jealous to hear how much fun this RIMS conference is. So, that's great. Nice way to spend your anniversary is out in Newfoundland for sure. Tell us how you got into insurance.
Well, I mean, if you've read that article, which I hastily penned, it really was by accident. I mean, I didn't grow up wanting to be a fireman or a policeman or an insurance adjuster, but kind of what happened, I just fell into it. I was reading a newspaper article. It had a position for a bilingual adjuster trainee, And my mother, who was in insurance, she worked at Economical at the time, and I saw the word insurance, and I said, Mom, do you know what a bilingual adjuster trainee is? And all I know is that you probably have to speak English and French. And she said an adjuster is a job with investigation and probably get to meet a lot of people. It's probably something you would like. So I applied for the position and know what I was getting myself into, and certainly didn't think it'd become a career. But at the time, I had been doing some traveling, and I don't think I had more than a couple pennies to rub together. So I needed a job, and that's the one I literally fell into. And it was with Crawford Company, and they were kind enough to give me a start as a bilingual adjuster trainee, and that really translated into a call center agent job. And it ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me career-wise.
Well, I got to ask you, do you even speak French?
I do speak French. Yeah. I took French immersion, and that was kind of what I guess gave me the advantage to get that first role, because it was a bilingual role in a claims service center and a sort of a first notice of loss center. So we had a national call center, and anything would come in at all hours, and it was an interesting role that just completely opened my eyes to what was out there. Before, I had no idea, really what an adjuster did or what really a claim was, but we got exposed to everything up there.
Now, have you always been with Crawford then from day one?
You know what, I have. They've been great to me, and I've had a lot of good opportunities that have come out of that opportunity that started in the call center. Having said that, though, I've worked in-house at a lot of different insurers for Crawford, to cover desks and to help out as needed. But that has been my stomping grounds for the last 20 years. I just celebrated my 20th anniversary. I have no idea where that time went, but as of August 28th, it's been 20 years with Crawford, and they've been very fair to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a blink of an eye. I'm going to be celebrating my 25th year with my company coming up this year, so
Wow.
it's crazy.
Wow,
And it
congrats.
just, you know,
Congrats.
you just
I think in today's day and age, it is something to celebrate, and it also speaks volumes about our employers and some of the chances and opportunities they've given us.
now let's talk about your rise in Crawford. You're now what's your title now? You're no longer an intake telephone adjuster. What do you do there?
No, it's some days I am still taking down first notice of loss, which is perfectly fine with me. But right now I look after the Southwestern Ontario hub of field offices for Crawford Company. So I've got a few offices that look after. So Waterloo, Brantford, London, Sarnia, and Windsor fall under my territory, and I make my way around the region as much as I can, and probably not as often as I should, but I have a bunch of great people that I work with in all of those different offices. So we do everything from soup to nuts, so to speak.
Well, there's something to be said about that, though,
claims. That's true.
right? Like you,
Whatever comes in the door. Any of the branches that I've worked in, it was always an expectation to do whatever came in the door, and I always specialized in accident benefits, but I carried the pager, did property and casualty claims, and got licensed as an all lines adjuster. But that was out of necessity. You just you did whatever came in the door, and your specialty was on the side, and that's kind of the way I like to work with people now. I don't think anybody should be really pigeonholed.
no, and even more to that, though, Mike. It's the fact that if you stay with your company long enough, doors and opportunities open, and you can come from being the telephone adjuster. I started pushing a mail cart, right? So that was kind of a fall winter job before the snow fell, and then I started doing that part time, and then you progressively move. So I mean, it's just kind of crazy where things take you if you're persistent and you do a good job, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think it gives you an appreciation for the entire organization and the role that every single person plays because, everybody does their part and there's people that don't get enough credit for the parts they do. And, I think when you start doing some of those entry level roles, they might be humble beginnings, but it gives you an appreciation down the line if you do progress, from those roles. You don't forget where you came from, nor should you.
No, not at all. I mean, I truly believe everybody plays a real role in handling of a claim, from the intake person right to the person that settles it and gets the release at the end. I mean, everybody's got an important role to do.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Mike, let's talk about your presidency, and then we're going to jump back to your family because they're most important. So we're going to finish off with them. But let's talk about
Sure.
your presidency this year. We're talking. You've got some really interesting stuff. Future Now is kind of our slogan for this year. So tell us about that. Where did that come up with? Where'd you come up with that?
Sure. Sure. Well, the Future Now concept or theme for this year is really about the fact that I'm not sure that everybody is fully aware that the future that we've been talking about for the last number of years is actually already here. I can't remember how many cyber seminars I've been to, but those claims are happening now, and the demographic shift that we've been talking about with the older generation, the wealth of the knowledge in our industry, they're starting to retire now, and we've been talking about that for years, but it's happening. The integration of artificial intelligence is prevalent now. A lot of companies have bots that are doing administrative tasks and processing for them. The times are changing, so to speak, but they're already changing. This isn't a futuristic concept. This is a great time to be alive. It's pretty exciting. Innovation is just growing exponentially, and in whatever sector you look at, things are changing, and it's happening now. And I think we tend to keep talking about the future, but it really is in our day-to-day lives now. You look at even the mobile devices that a few years ago, my phone was for making calls out on claims, and now I could pretty much work exclusively off my phone, my personal device. So it's amazing what we could do with technology now. So really that theme was born out of, I guess, that frame of reference. And what we're going to try to do this year is just tie in some of those concepts and some speakers that will give us a bit of perspective with current claims handling scenarios on some cyber threats, data breaches, and such. We hope to get a panel together for the January Claims Conference to talk about the integration of artificial intelligence and what does that mean for us and how is that changing the landscape. And then all of the peripheral seminars will bring in a few other speakers that kind of tie into that future concept.
Yeah, I mean, I just when you were sitting talking about it, I was just thinking about my claims and how the handling of my claims have completely changed. I've got an engineering firm, and I won't say who they are, and they'll know who they are when they listen to this podcast. That when I get out on a site, the first thing they do is put a drone in the air for me, so I can actually see it from an aerial view, an overview of my claim. I mean, to think 5 years ago, you weren't doing that. I know I wasn't. But I mean, it's just changed so differently that I've got a fire loss on a second story and it's not safe to get up there or get a ladder up there. I can put a drone up 3-5 feet above it and look down into that area. It's
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yep. No, we've sent a few of our folks to basically a commercial pilot ground school. The regulations are overwhelming, but these folks did about 40 hours of online training and then in-person training before they even got to touch the actual drone, let alone fly it. But navigating those, that changing landscape is important. if we want to use and employ some of this technology day to day in the industry, we have to learn it and unfortunately navigate some of the restrictions and regulations. So drones are a perfect example of what that theme is all about.
Yeah, data
It's a game
recorders.
changer. It's a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. And the data recorders, the downloads from the vehicles, and just the information that, what they used to give you, but now what they can give you if you have the right information or the tools to take it off. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, and Terry, we're so fortunate that the Ontario Insurance Adjusters have so many amazing vendor partners. We have so many people that support us. Our membership aside, the wealth of knowledge there, but some of the experts in the industry, the best of the best are out there and are more than willing to work with us at providing articles and speaking and providing, all kinds of information. We are very fortunate. And it's nice that as an association, we can share some of that knowledge with our membership and our vendor partners. So I think we're in a pretty good position to take that future now concept and reach out to those people that we work with all the time and have them help us share that message.
Yeah, and I got to owe a lot of gratitude to being a member of the OIAA. So for people that are listening that aren't members or really don't use it, I've got to tell you, since I became a member and just started attending events, getting to know the vendor partners and being able to just call them and ask them for a little bit of information, I call it the $2 opinion, and them just taking the time to talk to me because they've gotten to know me and know that I'm actually calling because I do need some help, and they're always willing to help. I just love being a part of the association. It's really kind of opened up those extra areas that I didn't have access or know I had access to.
Yeah, I mean, without turning this into a shameless plug, I can remember, and it's funny you say that you kind of, it opened your network a little bit, but there was a time where I had been to a few OIAA meetings in my local chapter in Kitchener-Waterloo, and I didn't really use it regularly. I wasn't really a part of the network. I attended a few meetings, but there was a day when my manager at the time pulled myself and another person aside and said, "I need you to go to these meetings and be a director, run a couple of their meetings." And I showed up, and little did I know they really needed some volunteers for their association. I didn't know I was getting into being on an executive council of an OIAA chapter, but I ended up becoming part of the executive council that day, and I was voluntold, but it's one of the best things that happened to me because, like you, it opened my eyes to a whole other network, and I have met so many people, so many amazing people, so many talented people, and so many fun people that it really has helped me, I would say, develop professionally, but to grow a network of peers that I can, like you said, talk to and get some opinions from, bounce things off, and have a lot of fun with. The amount of friends that I've built. I can't imagine if I hadn't been voluntold to be on the local chapter, I certainly wouldn't be sitting on a podcast with you today. So
Well,
it's been amazing, and I hope some other people have had a similar experience. And we certainly talk to people all the time. If you know somebody that hasn't been out to a meeting with the OIAA or has any interest in any of our seminars, bring them out, and hopefully they can become a part of this family.
yeah, I actually, it is very family oriented for sure, but I truly do believe I'm a better adjuster for it.
Good. Now, I hope I didn't make it sound like a cult.
No, there's no juice or anything. We're good. No, we're good.
No.
Hey everyone, I just want to let you know about our new portion of WP. It's WP Digital. If you get a chance, go to our YouTube channel, just type in WP Digital and take a look at some of our content. We were going to have all of our videos. We're going to be doing 2 to 3 a month, as well as you'll be able to listen to your podcasts right off the digital channel. So go back, enjoy, and there's some great videos for you to take a look at. Most of all, our September kickoff at the Ripley's Aquarium, a little intro video for you there. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about. We've had our kickoff. It was a great success. It was a total sellout. I know there was a waiting list. It was unbelievable, and I had a fantastic time. What about yourself? How did you enjoy the kickoff at the aquarium this year?
Well, you know what? I couldn't have been happier. I just, I was standing talking to someone. I looked over my left shoulder and I saw this massive reef shark swimming just below the surface, and I thought I better watch my step here and I'll fall in. But the venue is just spectacular. It's really an amazing place. I've been there once before, and it was on a holiday, and I didn't mean to say it, but I said to somebody, the last time I was here, they had us packed in like sardines, and but bum, right?
Yeah,
It is a spectacular place, but the difference this time around was we had the place to ourselves, and to be able to wander through that facility is incredible, and to have an event like that to start off the year with some amazing people selling the place out, and great food and some great conversation. The only thing I couldn't understand is how we went through 3 or 4 hours so quickly. It was amazing.
yeah.
So
Time did
really
really.
appreciate everybody that came out, and if that's any indication of what the term or the year is going to be like, then I'm very excited for what else we have coming up.
Yeah, time really did fly on Wednesday night. Now let's talk about our upcoming events too. Then, so we've got Past Presidents Night that's coming up on October the 10th, and then so talk about that. I mean, it's an event.
So yeah, you know what? It's one of those things that I've been to a lot of past presidents' nights, but this one will be a little different. Someone said to me once, and it was a past president. I saw them at a past president's night, and they said the best part about being the OIAA president is this night, because it means that at least once a year for the rest of my life, I get to come and spend time with the people that I worked so hard with all these years in the association. So some of the true friends that I've developed, I get to see them at least once a year. So, that kind of struck me as odd at the time, but now, coming into it and knowing that, that some of the people that I've seen and have been my mentors in this association, I don't see them every day now, but I will see them at that event every year. So I think for the past presidents, it is obviously a nod to everything they've given to the volunteer organization through the years. And we're talking, 80 plus years. So there's some amazing people there that have given a lot to the association, and it's going to be exciting. So October 10th, we've got them all coming in from all over the province, and it should be a great night with an illusionist and a good time to catch up. And there's usually an amazing amount of knowledge in that room. There's some great people that have come through that organization.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing. And it's funny that you say in the 80th. You were actually the 88th president of the association.
And 8 happens to be my favorite number, Terry. So
Well, that's really good. Double
perfect.
eights. All right. So we've got that, and we've got the past presidents. It's in October, and then we've got our Christmas due, um, and it's a Christmas holiday party, however you want to call it. But it's coming up in
And we
December.
switched it. Yeah, we switched it up a bit this year. We've done the Royal York the past few years, and it's been wonderful. That venue is certainly amazing. Christmas time with their decorations, but we thought we'd mix it up a bit, and we're headed to the Westin this year, Westin Harbor Castle, and I think it's going to be a great night. The organizing committee is planning a Casino Royale theme, so it should be a fun night. They've got a charity casino going, and it should be a good chance for everyone to get dolled up and come out and maybe blow off a little steam and spend some time with their friends.
And it's Wednesday, December the 12th, for all those that are wondering. And let's, we'll talk about, we've got the claims conference coming up in January, right? January 29th, or January 2019.
Yeah, January 23rd is the claims conference, and it kind of piggybacks off the CIAA, CICMA conference. So we should have everybody in town, and that's at the Metro Toronto Convention Center again. And, that'll really be the future now concept. It will really be ingrained in that event. A lot of our speaking panels and seminars will be, or I should say are, not will be, are themed around that Future Now concept. So it'll be a great day, and it's always well attended. We have a trade show. We have the seminars that run throughout the day, some great food, a little bit of entertainment. And then we also run concurrently a job fair. So we have all the students from all the insurance programs that we bus in each year. So we run a job fair and have, last year we had 13 different insurers and independent adjusting companies that came in to collect resumes and to be with the students. And we also do a bit of a panel for them. So we're looking for some new recruits.
Yeah.
So we have the job fair running again this year along with that, and that should be great.
That's excellent. I mean, that's a great time. I didn't get to spend a lot of time going around last year. We started with we did a mini podcast segment last year at the Claims Conference. We actually did 13 mini podcasts that day. But this year, we're going with the Future Now theme. I think I'm going to go around and I'm going to try and find everybody that has kind of that Future Now concept in their business and our business partners and see if I can get 13 or 14 Future Now type podcasts for that event.
Well, you know what I have to say, Terry, last year at that conference, that was something that really, was an embodiment of the Future Now concept. I mean, you had a live to air station, and every time I walked past, you were interviewing someone else, and it was amazing. And we appreciate everything that you've done for the association. And I think you're one of the ones that has driven a lot of innovation into the association with the WP Radio podcast, with WP Digital, and I think you said you're going to try and get some YouTube stuff going this year.
Yeah, we are. Our YouTube channel's up. We're just getting some content. We're going to have our first video up there, and that'll be from the kickoff. It'll be some live video and footage and photos. And from the kickoff, we do have a video already from the golf tournament. We haven't put it up yet, but that'll be up shortly. And I guess in my next podcast, I'll promote that YouTube channel. But it'll be part of the WP Digital platform, and it's pretty exciting. So we're going to be doing that live this year at the Claims Conference, and hopefully have some extra seats around for people to sit down and get sit and relax and listen to their presenter or the person that I'm interviewing. It should be good.
This is one of the most amazing things about the OIAA, or probably any volunteer association, but people like you that step up, volunteer their time. You're not getting paid to do this, yet you've brought so much energy, enthusiasm, and innovation to a volunteer association. I mean, it's not a small association, but you certainly changed the game.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate everything you've done. So.
All right, back to you. It's not about me. So back to you, Mike. Let's talk about your family. Got two lovely daughters that I've seen in some photos here. You look like you're quite the skiing family. So do you travel? What do you got planned?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up skiing. My dad tied the front of my skis together when I was a little kid, and used to take me out, and that's kind of what we did with our kids. And so they love to go downhill, and fortunately, the older they get, the faster they go down. So it's getting harder to keep up with them, and but it's something that we love, and it's some quality family time on the hill. So we like to try and get out. We went out to Maine in March of last year, and then we'll head down there. That's kind of an annual. We also go to upstate New York. I mean, I wish we lived in the British Columbian mountains somewhere. Unfortunately, we're stuck in flat Ontario, and so we're relegated to the likes of Blue Mountain or heading down to upstate New York. A few trips to Quebec and into Vermont and Maine, but we try and get out and just enjoy some fresh air. And I saw a sticker once when I was skiing last year, and it was on someone's mug, and it said, "My life is going downhill fast," and that's kind of what that's kind of what we like to do. So,
That's
yeah,
all.
they're good kids, and we like to try and make sure that we're having lots of fun. And it's just going so fast that we want to make sure we spend some time together too. So, skiing is a
Absolutely.
good way to do that. Yeah.
So I see another photo. It's you in a 1970 MGB Morgan Garage.
Oh yes, yeah. That is my oil leaking British Roadster, and
Do you still have it?
uh, yeah, my first car ever. When I was 15 years old, I saved up some money and I bought a 1972 Triumph Spitfire, a little convertible, and it was a real piece of junk. So that was a project that I worked on with my father over the winter. And when I was 16, that was my first car was this little British sports car, fully restored. So ever since then, I've always had some kind of project on the side, and yeah, I've got an old MGB that I have in my garage, and it's usually breaking down somehow. So it gives me something to work on, and maybe an excuse to hide out in the garage, because otherwise I'm the only male in the house. So sometimes I need a place to hide.
So do you take it to car shows? I'm seeing it here in a picture. It looks like it's a car show, but I'm not sure if it's other MGs or it's.
Yeah, so there's something called the British Car Day, and it's in Burlington. And they'll have over 1,000 British cars there, everything from Jags to Morgans to MGs and Triumphs, and all kinds of British cars and Land Rovers. And yeah, so it's not a show car. I'm not in it to compete. I'm just once in a while go there and look for some parts and talk shop with some of the folks, and just be around some other like-minded individuals. I guess crazy people that love to have neat, old, unreliable cars.
Sink their money into things.
My throttle cable broke on the way to that the car show this year. So the picture you're probably referring to is last August or last September, and I went last weekend. My throttle cable broke as I was heading up Appleby Line across the Niagara Escarpment, and my gas pedal went right to the floor. No gas. So I stopped on the side of the road, and I was trying to fix this thing. I had my hood up, and gentleman stopped in his brand new Nissan 370Z, and he said, "Can I give you a hand?" And I said, "No, I'm having fun here. If I wanted something that didn't break down, I would have bought one of those." And I pointed at his car. So it's that kind of thing. Every time you drive it, it's an adventure. So
That's awesome. And I noticed you've got another hobby. You like fishing.
I do. That's probably a guilty pleasure. I love to be on or near the water, but yeah, fishing is something that fly fishing in particular is something I love. I've gotten into over the last, I'd say, 10 years or so. I started leaving my other rods behind and just exclusively fly fishing. So it's a challenge, but the best part about that is you're standing in the middle of a river, and it doesn't get much more peaceful and beautiful than that. So a nice way to unwind.
And you do it with your dad.
You know what? I learned to fish with my dad, but he doesn't fly fish. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
he has the patience for that, and I didn't think I would at the start. But yeah, a few of my friends are into it, and that's who I spend most of the time in the river with.
And you've been a few places, I see. Kentucky, New Orleans.
Yeah, we try and get out to do a few things, get to some places. New Orleans is a great place to fly fish, and obviously a great city to spend some time in. But yeah, we've done some red fishing down in the Mississippi Delta.
Wow.
And, yeah, we just try and get out to a few different places. And the last time they went to Patagonia, I wasn't able to make that trip, but that going to Chile to fly fish was one of the things I missed the plane on.
Wow. Well, I'm
Something
not.
to look forward to in the future.
Absolutely. Just before I let you go, because I know you're busy and you've got to get packing, I'm sure, for your trip if you're not already packed. But if you're like me, you're packing tonight if you're leaving tomorrow.
I am like you.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
Mike,
and this week has been a busy one with our OIAA event, and just getting caught up at work and having that work-life balance. So yeah, I'll be packing probably around midnight tonight, and I'll jump on a plane at 7 a.m. and we'll head out to St. John's, Newfoundland.
just one last thing. Who's your charity this year? Let's talk about your charity. Because the OIAA does great work with charities every year, and I know the president picks the charity. So tell us about your charity.
Yeah, this year we've switched it up, and it's always tough to switch charities because they're all they're all doing such great things in the communities that they serve. But it is the president's choice, and I did choose to go back to Starlight Children's Foundation. So we hope to attend the gala and make a wish this year, and put our benevolent funds towards that this year.
That's amazing.
So yeah, there'll be the golf tournament later. I know we didn't talk about every event this year, but the golf tournament in June, all the proceeds there will be headed there, as well as some of our vendors have some charitable events and putting competitions and collections and 50-50. So all those proceeds will also channel into the Starlight Benevolent Fund this year. So I think it'll be a good and certainly a worthy cause.
Yeah, there was a reason, actually. I just wanted to let you know that I didn't talk about any of the events really beyond the Claims Conference this year, is because I'm going to try and catch up with you personally at the Claims Conference and steal 15 minutes of your time to talk about the Future Now concept at the Claims Conference, and then talk about our 2019 events that go on. So it was done with a little bit of deliberately, for lack of better words, but I'm going to try and steal some more time from you again in early 2019, and we'll talk about how things have kind of gone for the first half of your presidency, and then we'll talk about the second half. How's that sound?
Terry, I love spending time with you. There's never a shortage of conversation, and I look forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for your time today. And for all those people listening to WP Radio here in September, stay tuned. Our next episode, we're going to be talking about cannabis and all the changes in the legislation, and October 17th. And it's going to be a good one. All right. Thank you very much again to Mike McLeod for being on my podcast today. Guys, don't forget we do have an upcoming event. It's the Past President's Night on October the 10th. So if you haven't got tickets, please go to oiaa.com, get your tickets, and we hope to see you at the event. And we'll see you next month. Thanks.